But just before that, we're going back down to the Hawthorn rooms where, like Mark McClure, the assistant coach of the Bears, who played in last year's grand final, Peter Knights, the coach of the Bears these days, was assistant coach of Hawthorn last year, and of course much of his heart still lies at Glenferrie. So we're going down to hear Peter with Peter G.
Well, Tim's just outlined your Hawthorn background, but as an independent analyst today, where did Carlton win it?
Oh, I thought they really did keep on persevering all day. I thought, you know, Hawthorn just weren't able to quite bridge the gap. They'd get there, then Carlton would kick another just to keep that gap. And then I think at the beginning of the last quarter, they took the initiative away when a few of their runners really seemed to, well, find a little bit extra. And it was really a day where conditioning was going to tell. And I think they just found a little bit at that vital time at the beginning of the last quarter and got that break, and that was it.
Carlton had more runners today as compared to Hawthorn. Where were the Hawthorn small men?
Well, I suppose it was a collective thing. You know, I thought Johnson started off well. He went out of a little bit, but he certainly came on in that last quarter. Bradley, you know, and with the guys that they were bringing on and off, such as Gleeson and Murphy, you know, I really believe that their runners in general just gave them that little bit extra in the end. And whether that was a result of the conditioning because of the climate today, or whether it because Carlton have only played a couple of games in September and Hawthorn have had a hard road, I don't know. But it just seemed to me that they just had a few more runners at the right time.
The forward line, there was nothing down there. Jason Dunstall not making it into the lineup. Was it a case of have to give Jason a chance? And Peter Russell Morris, even though you knew that they weren't 100%?
Oh, I think you know, they made the right decision there. If they felt that Jason wasn't fit enough to play, I feel you just can't go in with guys that aren't 100%, especially in conditions such as today. You've just got to go in with guys that are 100% and got that conditioning. But I think just in general, the Hawthorn forward line was down. You know, Dermott found it pretty hard. Reece Jones played a great game. Losing Russell Morris early, Bucky found it hard.
Was it a mistake to play him in the first place, Russell Morris?
Oh, no, they said he was right. He copped the knock early in the first quarter, I believe. I don't know a lot about it, but I believe he copped the knock early. But, you know, I watched him train during the week and he seemed to be moving pretty freely. And as I said, the match committee at Hawthorn certainly wouldn't have fallen into a trap of playing guys unfit with a question mark.
Well, today's conditions, you must have thought you were back on the Gold Coast, or it's even perhaps a bit hotter. If the Bears can get to the finals, then you must be a big show if Melbourne can turn this weather on every September.
I think our fellas would have been struggling a bit under those conditions too. It has to be one of the hottest grand finals that I can remember, maybe in history, and it really was a test of stamina and conditioning today, and it appeared that Carlton just sort of, well, they fell in as a result of that, I think. Well, not fell in, but it certainly did tell the tale in the end.
Okay, what is the upcoming few weeks hold in store for the Bears?
Oh, well, our fellas will be having a break over October, and we'll start some training at the beginning of November, but I suppose Shane O'Sullivan, myself, will start looking at recruiting a little bit over the next month or so. It's obvious that we've got to pick up a few extra players to give us a bit of extra depth and a bit of extra firepower, so we'll be looking to do that. But more importantly, you know, we're going to take stock and hopefully build on our last performance against Richmond here at the MCG and use that as a good tonic and use that as a stepping stone. So we're certainly looking forward to the summer and looking forward to next season.
Even though you've got a big job there, a tinge of sadness tonight?
Oh, yes. Look, I think after spending, well, 18 years at a football club and a club such as Hawthorn, it's pretty hard to get away from the fact that you're Hawthorn through and through, and a lot of brown and gold veins, blood in the veins. And yeah, it's a sad time, but that's football. Hawthorn and Yabby will bounce back again next year, and I'm quite certain that they'll be a force again next year. And I think one of the brighter parts as far as Hawthorn are concerned, they've got so many good young kids coming on, and they continue to produce those. They'll continue to be there in the finals.
And even playing in a losing final is going to be good for you when you get to the next one.
Oh, it's a great experience, isn't it? You know, some of those kids will learn a lot, and they did play a few kids today, but there's no doubt that Carlton deserved their win. They were certainly the better side on the day, and congratulations to Carlton.
All right, thanks very much.
Okay.
Peter Knights, Brisbane Bears coach and assistant coach with the Hawks last year. Bit of different circumstances down here in the Hawthorn rooms this evening.